So when we talk about cross-site request forgery, which is abbreviated as CSRF and it is pronounced as CSRF. What is it? So by definition, CSRF is an attack that forces an end user to execute unwanted action on a web application in which he is currently authenticated. Okay. I understand that just this particular definition might seem confusing to you at this particular level. We will see how CSRF has been done, and then I will revisit this definition. Probably by that time you may have a better understanding of this particular definition. How attackers will actually perform CSRF. So let us assume that the user has logged into the web application legitimately, and CSRF attacks will work only if the user is logged in to the web application. So that is one criteria for an CSRF attack to be successful one. And let us assume that the session management has already taken up the action and there is a username called admin and he has already logged into our DVWA web application. Session ID is already given for admin. The session ID is ABC123. Similarly, different users will have different session IDs and it will be managed on the session ID store. The first step for an attacker is to create a malicious site that actually contains a script to change the user's password. So here the attacker's target is to change the user's password. The first things that an attacker would do is he should create a malicious site that actually contains an hidden form that is submitted to DVW application to change the password. And once that is done, an attacker will actually host that website onto the internet and then he will obtain the URL for this malicious site. In our case, let us take for an example, it is malicious site/csrfattack.html. And now the next step is somehow this particular attacker want the user to click on that particular link. If the request is from the attacker, the DVWA is not going to accept this request because the session ID which is generated for admin user, which is ABC123, will not be present here. So the DVW application is not going to accept this particular request. So there is no way that the attacker can directly change the password. Password reset request should come from the user itself. Only if the request is coming from the user, he will be having that session ID as ABC123. So that is our target. So how can he do that? So attacker will carefully draft an phishing email. So this is a typical example of an phishing email, and you can see that the email which contains a link to reset the password, and this particular link is actually containing the URL of this particular website. Once the URL has been clicked, he will be landed onto this particular website, and this particular website is especially crafted by the attacker, and this is the malicious website. I can call this as M site. And now this website is loaded on user's browser. As soon as he clicks on this particular link, the request is sent along with the session ID. Malicious password reset request which is there, which is using HTTP GET method and which is actually directing him to the actual website, DVWA website. So this request will be sent to DVWA, but actually it is coming from user browser. So this particular user browser will obviously add the session ID which is given by the database. So this here the session ID is ABC123 and then he is asking for a password reset, and now this password reset is already filled with an malicious password which an attacker wants to change. So he is actually entered the new password is hacked and the confirmed password is again hacked, and then he is actually sending that particular request. So once this particular request is received by the DVWA application, your DVWA is going to accept this request because the session ID has been matched. So now the attack is actually successful, and you could see that the credentials are actually modified. Now the username is admin and the password is actually changed to hack. Whatever be the password which is kept by the admin, now it will be maliciously changed to hacked. So this is how the CSRF attack will be performed. So now after having this particular idea, we will just see how an attack has to be performed with the help of our DVWA web application. So here is our web application. We have already logged in. So we can go for CSRF web tab where the user is allowed to change his new password. So let us assume that he wants to change his password to test123 and then confirm password is test123. And then if he clicks on change, yes, now if you look at this particular URL, it actually says that the new password is test123 and the confirmed password is also test123 and the action command is change and the PHP session ID is also included. Now when this particular request is submitted to the database or with the web application, the password will be changed. Now we will see what is the actual credential now. So I will just type the username as admin and now the password is changed as test123. If I type password, which is our previous password, it says that password is wrong because now it has been changed to test123. So I will just type on admin and then I will type password as test123 and now it will say that this is a valid password for the admin. So now we will try to exploit this particular vulnerability. So how can we exploit this? As I said earlier, the attacker has to perform. So before that we can just copy this URL because we need to divert the user to our malicious website. So what we can do is we can develop an malicious website. So let me just open up this for you and here I have small web page developed for demonstration purpose. So here this is a malicious website. So this is the URL which I actually copied. So what I have to do is I will have to change the new password is actually hacked and the confirmation password is changed to hacked. So whatever be the password that the user wants to keep, it is going to change it as hacked now. So somehow I have to trick the user to click on this particular URL. So how can we do that? We can actually do that by sending this particular script. I can load this HTML onto the internet facing servers and then I will get the URL and I will be sending an phishing email or I can do some social engineering or some technique, some attack vector I have to follow and I have to ensure that the user, the admin is actually clicking onto this particular link. So now what we can do is we can just open up a new tab and then he is actually landing on this particular page. So let me just copy this URL and then I will open this particular. Let us assume that this is the phishing email which is sent to the user, that means admin in our case. So he will just click on that and he will be taken to the malicious website. This is the malicious website which we have designed. So it says that click the button to reset your password. As soon as the user clicks on this, you can actually see that the password has been changed. Now we will check what is the password. So we very well know that the admin password is test123. When I type test123, it says that the password is wrong anyway because a cross-site request forgery has been done and now the user's password is actually hacked. So with this, now I think you can better understand why is it called as cross-site request forgery. You can see that there is a forged request. Yeah, the attacker has actually created a forged request by using a malicious site and then this malicious site is submitting the request to the legitimate site. So let us assume that this is site 1 or malicious site M site and this is the legitimate site which is L site. So since the request is being submitted from malicious site to the legitimate site, so that is why the name it is cross site. It is actually sending a request. So that is what we did here. And the request is actually forged. So that is the meaning and hence the name for cross-site request forgery. And all of these are happening from the browser of the user. Why the user has to send? Only if user sends that particular request, we will have that SID. And if the authentication is only based on the SID, then it is a critical condition. As I said already, I will just now display the definition of the CSRF. Now I think you will have a better understanding of what that definition is. So now you can go through this particular definition. So CSRF is an attack that forces an end user. So here our admin is forced to execute unwanted action. So unwanted action here in our case is changing the password. Admin doesn't actually want to change the password, but he is forced to change his password on a web application. So everything happened. All these was possible because the admin is actually logged into his web browser. So this particular piece of SID which is saved as cookie has made all these things possible. So that is what we call it as cross-site request forgery. We will conclude this particular video by discussing the defensive techniques. So the first defensive technique is you can use the same site cookie attribute, which means you can check whether the request is coming from the same site or it is from the different site. So that we can see in the subsequent videos. And then another possible way is to check for the referrer header. You can actually check for the referrer header. So this will tell you that the request is from the same session. So this is actually the medium level security. In order to crack the medium level security, you will have to chain multiple attacks. So as already promised, we will just discuss each and every vulnerabilities first, and then to chain the attacks, we must know what each and every attack is all about. So once we have done each and every attack, once we have completed all the attacks, then we can move on to the higher level of security breaches, which involves chaining multiple attacks. So then we can use custom headers, where we can curate the headers so that the user will be authenticated based on that. Avoid using get requests, but instead of get request we can use post request, because when you send any action commands in the get request, the get request is going to send all the content in the URL. So get request will always place all these contents in the URL, and this is visible for everyone. So if you put it on the post, then all the content will be in the body of the thing, so that it will not be visible for most of the users. And the best practice is to log out from the web application after you are done with your work or when it is not in use. So these are all the major defensive technique which will keep you safe from the CSRF attacks. So that's all about this particular video. We just started with understanding what session management is, and we have practically seen how the session is actually managed. And if the SID is available with the attacker, he can able to pretend that he is an authenticated user as long as the user is logged in. And we just understood what CSRF is and how to perform a CSRF attack, and we have seen a demo also. And finally, we have discussed the defensive techniques. So up next, in the next video, we will be discussing the file inclusion attacks. So stay tuned. I'm going to see you in the next video. Until then, it's bye from Jai and happy learning.